Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 1 of Team Yap, the Digimon Podcast. I am your co-host, Emily Brewer.
And I am your co-host, Chris Lavalette.
And we are here with a very exciting new twist on our Team Yap series, which is, we're talking about Digimon now.
We're talking Digimon now, Pokemon's old news.
We have spent over a year talking about Pokemon. We just had our 1-year anniversary. If you haven't seen that video, I do recommend you check it out.
Absolutely. It'll be our last foray.
That's our last dive into Pokemon. And
Hurrah.
Our last hurrah, we went out with a bang. I'm just tired of it. We've spent so much time talking about it. I've spent so much time playing the games, collecting the cards, Pokemon Go. It's just, I've had enough, honestly.
Boring, the series is repetitive. They can't make any new fun ideas, so time to move on.
Even ZA isn't that exciting.
ZA, honestly, I'm probably not even going to get it.
We'll see. I mean, if I have to buy a Switch 2 to play the game, absolutely not. I'm not going to buy it. So,
no.
With that being said, we needed something else to talk about because we're not going to end our podcast.
We couldn't just shut it off. There is no stopping the Yap train.
Exactly. There's too much yapping to be had. And so because of that, Chris recommended Digimon. And, of course, I've heard of Digimon over the years. Absolutely paid no attention to it. Had no idea what was it about. And so I was excited because what that meant was a whole new kind of world to dive into. And
Digital one.
A digital one, but tis. And if I'm correct, and Chris can back me up on this, I didn't do a lot of research because I kind of wanted to make this be as organic as possible. Well, just as just to say what the rest of the episode is going to be about, we watched the movie, and this is going to be a movie review as our first foray together into Digimon. But when I was looking up some pictures of characters and stuff, and I think I saw a trading card. Is there a trading card game?
I don't know if it's still on. I think it is. It is still ongoing. I'm pretty sure. I just haven't really kept up with it. I think it is.
But it was a thing, at least.
Yes, it was definitely. Oh, it was definitely a thing because I know I had a lot of me and my oldest brother had actually some original Digimon cards. I don't know if the game has changed since then, but I mean, I still love the look of those older Digimon cards.
Yep.
That and thinking of them back in my head, it's cool. And there is a series where they use cards.
Interesting, in the show.
In the show.
What? I'm getting Bakugan vibes or something from that, even though I know
it's not quite that. It's not a whole thing of it's not like it's a trading card game, fight to the death kind of thing, but it is the standard Digimon. Actually, that's not entirely true because it starts out in the real world, whereas Digimon Adventure and Adventure 02, which are the Japanese names.
Yeah.
They mostly take place in the digital world with some real world stuff, mostly towards the end. And then this one, I'm trying to remember. I think it's just Digimon Tamers. Takes place in the real world.
Dude, you know a lot about Digimon. So before
I'm remembering, I actually did a somewhat recent rewatch of Tamers.
Okay.
Because I really liked that series, and I think I tried to do a rewatch of the original series. I actually managed to get through the original.
Yep.
I think I. Wow, I did a couple of years ago or something. It's all coming back to me. I did a rewatch of Adventure 02, and Tamers.
Dude, so you're going to really help me out during this episode.
I'm going to do my best.
Like I said, I didn't do really any background research. I just kind of dived into the movie because I was interested in the concept of digital monsters. And it's so interesting to me, so was it Pocket Monsters first or Digital Monsters first? What, the chicken or the egg here? The Digi-Egg?
I believe Pokemon came first.
Don't quote us, but that makes sense to me.
I believe Pokemon came first because Pokemon started with the games.
Okay.
I know the anime started in 98.
Now, did Digimon start as an anime and then kind of branch off into games? I'm curious about that. We don't. Chris can look that up while I do a little bit more yapping. my end. But so essentially what we did here today is we both watched the Digimon movie. I don't know what its proper title is. Does it have a proper title?
Or for at least the dub, it's Digimon the movie.
Digimon the movie. Okay, very original. And the thing about trying to watch this movie is it's not available to stream anywhere. And I think in my trying to find if it was available to stream, the reason why it's not is because they're remaking it or something.
I think I've been seeing something about potentially getting a Blu-ray release.
Yeah. So because of that, I watched it on archive.org and Chris watched it on YouTube.
What do you mean? We watched it on totally reliable websites that are. Yeah, I watched it on YouTube and she watched it on archive.org.
And well, I mean, that's what that's for. I mean, it's rare that you can find a full movie for free on YouTube these days, because most full movies that are like mainstream, they put on and you have to rent or buy. And the fact that I also found it on archive.org is pretty cool because that ties into our work a little bit.
Yeah.
And speaking of tying into our work, despite the fact that we're a little sick of Pokemon, we needed something fresh and new. When watching this movie, and we'll get into this a little bit more, all of the old technology that is highlighted in the movie is so cool, and I think really speaks to and makes sense for us to talk about as our new podcast topic because of where we work. We have thousands of old programs on VHS tapes. We have old computers. We have old cameras. The vibe is just... It fits so perfectly into this era of Digimon that it makes a lot of sense. So I was really excited to see that during the movie. But, essentially what I did you find anything in your research? I forget what you're looking up.
Well, yes, I just now... So I found something just before that. It said the first ever Digimon product released was little digital monsters... first product with a digital monster virtual pet was released in Japan in 1997.
Like a little
like a Tamagotchi.
Yes. Stop it. Yeah. Oh my God.
In
1997, you said?
1997.
For some reason, I thought
June.
you said 1977.
Digimon's been around since 1977. Crazy how Pokemon completely ripped them off. Yeah. Pokemon is older, as the games were published in 1996.
Okay. So, pretty, honestly, not that far of a time difference in between there, which, and we'll talk about this a little bit as well. About the difference between Digimon and Pokemon. I made a couple of notes about that while watching the movie. But essentially what I did was I found our movie reviews for Pokemon, and I took a few of the categories that we had for that and took my notes based on that. So I have some notes on score, animation, story, favorite scenes, and then how it compares to Pokemon, as well as overall thoughts.
Yeah, and me being me, my usual thing, I just kind of went through the movie, everything that I sort of just felt interesting to my brain that I felt I wanted to tack down. That's all in my 3-4 pages of notes here.
So let's dive in, and I think what we should do with this is let's talk about the score and the animation first, and then we can just kind of dive through through the timeline of the movie and talk about things as they come up. So first of all, my only note for the animation was quintessential 2000s animation, just absolutely perfect.
Yeah, it was good.
There were some scenes where I was like, this is giving me Spirited Away vibes. Towards the end, one of the Digimons was really giving me Spirited Away. And when the kids are little babies, they're really cute and giving me Hayao Miyazaki. So I enjoyed that. But you just don't see, animation is not the same.
No.
I feel like an old man saying that. But
I can think of currently... One Piece is doing kind of stuff like that.
Okay.
Looks really good. But yeah, it's current anime. It's kind of sticking with the same. You got some breakouts that are doing some good stuff.
Yeah,
like Solo
but
Leveling,
mainstream
One Piece,
stuff, like, it's just not. It's not as intriguing, and I suppose there is a bit of a nostalgia factor there too, because we did watch this kind of stuff when we were younger, but it does also speak to the fact that just like the quality of animation is across the board,
and I mean with this
not the same.
With this older media, it's I don't know, it's something about the grain that it has to it, like
totally
just adds that extra layer of charm.
Yeah, I loved that. So that was my note about the animation, and the animation tied with the score. So I thought the score, it's interesting to me because it's a little, and then actually just pause. We watched the English dub.
Yep. The soundtrack.
I have no idea what the soundtrack is in the Japanese original. So everything that we talk about is based on the English dub. So just keep that in mind. Anyways, the soundtrack. I'm going to let you say what you want to say about that.
Oh my God, it's so 2000s and fun.
It's so good. It's incredible, honestly.
I hope I didn't just peek the mic.
If you did, it's worth it because
I just love it. I have been waiting so bad for just to get to this bit because we made this decision to reroute our podcasts and our topic and all that, but we've been planning this idea for a little bit.
Yep.
Picking at Digimon. And so the entire time I've just been waiting to get to the soundtrack and hearing all the songs kick in, and then Bare Naked Ladies.
What part of the movie is the Bare Naked Ladies in? You told me about this too.
I did. Well, I was mistaken. I was misremembering, thinking they had made songs for the movie.
Oh, they just
for the
played.
English dub.
They just played.
But they played 1 week.
That's
in
right.
the Digimon movie.
That's right.
And it's just a montage of, we'll get into the whole movie, but it was over the montage of showing the kids, like the Digidestin from the first show. Oh, that was cool.
And then, of course, All Star at the end.
Yes, that threw me for a loop. Like, I knew about Bare Naked Ladies. I had no idea about Smash Mouth.
Now, when did Shrek come out? I'm going to look this up really quick.
I feel like is that 2000, 2001?
It's right around there. Shrek release 2001.
2001.
So this movie used that before Shrek did. And Shrek, when you hear that song, what do you think of?
You think of Shrek busting out of that outhouse.
Exactly. Now, if you had watched this movie before you watched Shrek, I don't know. I feel like your brain is just completely rewired than anybody else who watched Shrek and then this movie.
I'm trying to think of that jarring experience you hear at the end of the Digimon movie. And what a nice little bow on the end of all the for whatever reason you go and watch Shrek right after, and you hear the song again.
Okay. So that made me laugh. But in general, just hearing all of the some of the hits of that time in the movie was amazing. And I also have to say, absolutely epic and iconic opening credits song.
Yes, the Digi-Rap.
It's just so good. And it fits so well with the animation.
Corny. I love it.
What else could you ask for,
Exactly. I love that kind of cheese.
And I also have in here, nothing slaps as hard as a 2000 song in anime.
No, not at all. When it kicks in, that big fight scene, any big fight scene, honestly, this movie, the song kicks,
it's just so good.
It makes me want to move.
If, for whatever reason, you would watch this movie, if nothing else but the score, I recommend you watch this movie.
Sit down, watch it, turn your brain off, enjoy the ride.
And there's also a little jingle that happens whenever they make their Digimon fight. That's Digimon, digital monsters. It is so catchy. I don't even know what they say for the rest of the jingle because I couldn't watch with captions because it was on archive.org. Chris knows the full song. What comes next?
Digimon, digital monsters. Digimon are the champions. It's mostly that.
Digimon are the champions.
Digimon are the champions. Yep.
Okay. Epic. Absolutely epic and iconic. Could not be happier with the score and the animation. So with that being said, let's move on to the story. Before we jump into it, I just want to say that and I knew this going into it because I got a little warning from you. I was confused.
Yes, because it goes through multiple time shifts.
Yes.
The first one being
characters.
how we start off with Ty and Kari as little babies, toddlers. Then the second section of the movie, it's taking place with the original cast of Digimon Adventure 1.
Okay.
But post Digimon Adventure 1. So this is after they've made it home, saved the world, all that. Their Digimon are back in the digital world.
And I would have never known this because it's not explained.
Genai is an established character in the series. He's like their old mentor.
Is that the old man in the computer?
Yes.
I literally have on my list here, who the hell is that old man on the computer with all the Digimon? And I knew it was like something like that.
Yeah.
But it is like, this is not a movie that you can watch and expect to understand what's going on with no context.
Yeah, like
you can still enjoy it.
You can still enjoy it, and you would, if you want the full context and all that. That is watching the entirety of Digimon Adventure 02. Mm-hmm. Maybe not the entirety of 02 because it doesn't seem like they're quite done with their adventures in this movie. Because the third section of the movie, mainly focusing on the Digimon Adventure 02 cast.
I see. So it's similar to Pokemon where the cast changes over time.
Yes.
Is it similar to Pokemon where like you have the same main character that stays throughout all the seasons?
No.
Interesting.
No, you have a rotating full cast.
I like that.
So it's like Ty is the leader, main character in the first one, then it's Davis in the second one.
Who looks exactly like Ty.
It's exactly like him, and I even had a misconception that they were like cousins or something.
But they're completely not related.
They better not be with how he's talking about Kari.
Because he likes the sister. That's right.
Because he likes Kari. They better not be.
Yep. Also, ew, Kari, come on. Why are you... Is she also into Davis?
I don't remember. Like I remember.
If she is, girl, that is literally your brother.
I remembered there was some kind of. Well, because in the movie she says part of her like traveling to America was partially to make Davis jealous.
So she is in the first season.
She's in the first,
but not really
season.
She's young.
She comes in later. She's not a Digidestined yet.
Okay, and then she's more of a Digidestined in the second series?
Yes. She does, like, join the crew at some point in the first show, but not until later. Mm-hmm. And then in the second series, she is part of the main cast.
I see. Okay.
And I was always, like, I just don't remember because I knew there was some relationship thing between either her and TK or her and Davis. I just do not remember off the top of my head when they were like focusing on more. So,
well, we just need to watch the series, I suppose.
Yeah,
which makes sense.
I might need to do my next rewatch. Because
stay tuned for our next episode of the Digimon Podcast.
I'd love to watch Tamers again.
I'm very intrigued by this. It gave me the movie gave me enough of a taste of like what's going on here that like it makes me want to watch the anime. Mm-hmm. So I thought that was cool. Let's pause for a moment and let's talk about Digidestined for a second and what that means, because I don't fully understand what it means. So basically, like, what I understood was, because in the first episode, or the 3 parts of the movie, in the first part of the movie, there's this, like, Digimon attack going on, and, like, it is explained that those that witnessed that became Digidestined.
I wonder if that was more of they were saying, like, coincidentally, those who witnessed it became the Digidestined, or if it had something to do with, like, the phenomena, and because they were the ones that saw it, that maybe something happened. I don't fully know.
Gotcha. And so essentially Digidestined is just like a Pokemon trainer.
Pretty much.
But special. Like more special. Because anybody could be a Pokemon trainer as long as you're 10 years old.
But it's like Digidestined, you were chosen by your Digimon.
I see.
The Digivice.
And now, is that just kids?
Yes. But they will, like, still be with their Digimon into adulthood. Like,
I see.
I forget what it is, but there's something. It's probably one of the later movies, Digimon Adventure Tri.
Yep.
I think like Tai and Agumon are going to World Summit meetings or something like.
And he's like an adult.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
I don't know.
The lore goes
crazy,
crazy, bro.
It does. It's insane.
Dude. Okay. I like that. And this kind of jumps down to like, how does it compare to Pokemon? There are the kid's age. Ash is not 10 years old for 50 years.
Tai is not 10 years old.
Tai
and the only main character.
Grows up, and I like that.
Grows up, he moves on, he gets a 9 to 5.
There's something to say about keeping Ash the same character, and like just because it's like you get like involved in his storyline. But you can achieve that the same way with making them grow up, still showing them and moving on to your next group of characters and seeing them, you know, grow and change with their Digimon and stuff. So I like that. I like that about this series.
Like, Digimon acknowledges its past. Like Adventure 02 is a direct sequel to Adventure 01, but you'll see the main cast show up and help out throughout that one. Less and less so as it goes on, because I think they do start to get into the like, not taking place in the same universe kind of thing.
Yep.
But they'll still do their big crossover. Like a couple of years back in the series that was going on at the time, I don't know what one it was. They had done a full like multi-parter episode as part of the whole final battle, I believe it was for that series. They had all of the leaders come back.
Interesting.
In their different at their peaks.
I'm so fascinated by this. There's something to be said about having no knowledge, and I feel like I've said this a million times, but it is like really special to have no knowledge of something and then try to like dive in.
Be able to absorb it all.
Totally. So help me understand a little bit too. Like they mention our world versus the digital world, and so the Digimon come from the digital world.
Yes.
And you see in the second part, and we'll take a pause here in a second I'll let Chris kind of like go through a little bit more sequentially. But you see in the second part where they're like, the virus Digimon is communicating with them over email and this and that. And so like, is the digital world just like the internet?
So no.
Okay.
That is very... Like they say that they are porting them to the internet. From
right,
Genai's
that's
place.
right. So the digital world is a completely other.
It is
world,
separate
from
Earth, to human internet.
Human stuff. That's right. Okay, that makes sense. Now,
that being said, I did love the look of like the internet world and the battles in there. It was sick.
Yes, the interpretation of the internet in that was hilarious
and accurate. I mean, that just looks like a jumbled mess of chaos.
Totally. Now, in the first part, Tai and Kari get a Digi-Egg, because Digimon comes from Digi-Eggs.
Yep, which come out of
from
computers.
the computer. But they come out of the computer, but they're not from the internet. They're from the digital world. They're just connecting via the computer. Okay.
Or devices.
Or
in
device,
general.
like a phone or
like all of the devices are going insane.
That's right. Even like the microwave and stuff.
Yep. Even the rice cooker.
Okay.
I just have to mention with the Digi-Egg coming out, the red screen, just waiting for Kari to turn around. There he is.
Okay. The humor in this movie.
Oh my
top
God.
Top tier. Like it was one after the other
I couldn't breathe. I couldn't stop to just, what is that? Especially Ty's mom.
Ty's mom is hilarious. I have under my favorite parts, beef jerky shakes, potato juice, and spinach cookies. Chris also has that in all caps in his notes. And also just like, Izzy eating like all the stuff and then like neading to go shit his pants
Izzy's
during the middle of the fight. Like,
if it isn't
hilarious.
The consequences of my own actions.
So we'll get to that in a moment, but so let's just keep going down with like the first part.
Yeah.
So they explain that not all Digimons are friendly. And
not all Digimon are friendly. There are some that are just inherently quite rude.
And are those attached to people as well, or are those just like Digimon that don't have a Digi person attached to them?
Often not attached to a person.
Okay, and so like those are the ones they're like fighting.
Like Parrotmon was just a Digimon doing its own thing. It was just like, cool, I'm gonna destroy shit.
Fighting the
which, by the way,
Koromon, is that the name of them?
So yeah, it starts out as Botamon, the little black ball with yellow eyes.
Okay.
Then it's Koromon. Because there's a lot of Digimon.
Koromon as the pink little bunny thing.
Yes, Koromon was the pink little bunny thing. They leave out some Digimon names like as they go through that. Given I wouldn't they're not Pokemon.
Sure.
They're not going to shout out their own names. They actually talk.
That is the one of the biggest differences between the series for me is that every single one of them talk.
Yep.
Versus like Meowth,
Every single one talks, has their own personality, and it's great. I love it. Especially with how they introduce Koromon talking. It's just like, yeah, it talks, sure.
Yeah.
Like, Kari asks him a question, and like, yeah, my name's Koromon.
Also, Koromon shitting on the floor twice. Epic.
Might need a warning for that too.
That was so funny. So I missed that. So when Koromon evolves from the pink bunny to a fucking orange dinosaur. Agumon. Okay. And so the thing that's also different here with me for Pokemon is like, if you think about Charmander, Charmeleon, and Charizard, those are very clearly from the same family.
Oh, yeah. But Digimon, no fucking clue.
Yeah. So if you look at Koromon versus Agumon, you would have what?
Unless you have lived with Digimon, that connection in your brain just isn't going to exist.
Exactly. And so that tripped me up at first. And then also the fact that, and so then Agumon digivolves. So digivolve is the verb here.
Yes.
Into what? Greymon. And then so when they're digivolving, they can, the difference here with Pokemon is they can undigivolve.
Yep, they can go back.
They return back to whatever form they want.
And sometimes, can't really fully tell why. I mean, I imagine there's a thing to be said about, I'm sure maintaining their champion form for a certain amount of time, which is Greymon. Maintaining their champion form for a certain amount of time has got to be taxing on them or something.
Sure.
But I want to know where that threshold is because Gatomon is champion level.
Gatomon. Now, which one was
Kari's
that?
Digimon.
Kari's Digimon.
Gatomon is constantly champion level.
I need to look up Gatomon because I don't remember.
The little cat with the yellow
Gatomon
gloves.
Okay, wait. Oh, he's cute.
Yeah.
So that's champion level?
That's champion level.
It's so small.
Whereas everyone else, they're always in their rookie level until the fight starts and all that.
Okay. And then there's also ultimate level?
Yes. So the stages go... I don't remember. Sometimes I feel like the baby forms, I feel like it changes sometimes because I feel like I've seen baby and in training 1.
In training 1.
Because I know for a fact the one after that is in training or in training 2. Because I feel like I've heard
this says, English adaptation terms with Japanese terms in brackets. Fresh or baby 1. In training, baby 2.
Okay.
Rookie, child, champion, adult, ultimate, perfect, mega, ultimate. So the English is fresh, in training, rookie, champion, ultimate, mega.
Gotcha. Fresh. I'd not heard that before.
But the Japanese is baby. It translates to baby. Baby 1, baby 2, child, adult, perfect, ultimate, which is funny to me. Perfect.
Yeah. I think I prefer that, especially how do you get to ultimate after perfect?
Yes.
Shouldn't perfect be the last one?
Right? Yeah, I know.
But
that's probably why they didn't call it perfect in English and called it ultimate and then mega.
I mean, I may have bias, but I think I prefer the English structure.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Sure.
so it's so fresh, in training, rookie, champion, ultimate, mega.
That and that is interesting to me that being able to change through to at their own will. And so I think another major difference here to me too.
Sometimes at their own will.
But the Digidestins may say
it pretty much seems to be Yeah, because remember the whole deal was they were trying to get hold of everyone to get them there so that they could actually digivolve their Digimon, send them into the fight.
That's right. Well,
so that's why I like. That's another thing, I guess. It's really more of I feel like maybe an inconsistency then.
Sure. Yeah, it's like a continuity
thing. Sometimes they can digivolve on their own. Sometimes they need their partner if they.
Sure.
Maybe it's just if they have
it's
a
like
partner.
a really like powerful like thing that they need to fight or something like.
Because I'm just I don't know how. From the first section, how Koromon would have gone through his Digivolutions if the kids weren't actively aware of any of that stuff.
Right. So he just did that.
Yeah, that was just, I suppose.
So I
it could
feel
have also
like
been from the. Greymon was, I could reason out to, he was crushed by that bridge, and so the stress of the situation.
Yeah.
Before that, I have no idea unless there is something about like them digivolving up through to rookie level based on consumption.
Sure.
That's the only thing I can think of.
I feel like it's probably a similar thing with Pokemon where it's like if you have like a Pokemon and you are training it and it evolves versus like there are wild Pokemon that are just doing their own thing and they evolve.
Yeah,
like,
I guess it would be kind of the same principle.
Yeah. So, and also there's like a concept of like at one point, I think it was Ty and Matt's Digimon that like combine into a Digimon. And so this is like a total aside, but like I have always refused to watch Steven Universe. I don't know.
Really?
I don't know if have you seen that show? There was something that's like the same thing. Like I refuse to watch Doctor Who. Like there's just like some. Chris is looking at me very strangely. There are some shows that I just like because of like my Tumblr era. Like I just refuse to watch.
What does that mean?
You'll have to figure that out. And it's funny because Doctor Who, I used to like buy Doctor Who merch, and I like refused to watch the show because of the whole Super Wholock thing. And I love Supernatural. I love Sherlock. Yeah, I know. Strange time. But same with Steven Universe. I think and like with Harry Potter when I was younger, I refused to watch Harry Potter because so many people liked it. And then I watched it and loved it. And so it's like, I think I got a Steven Universe clip on my TikTok For You page a little bit ago. And then I was like, a little bit of a rabbit hole so I never knew what the show was actually about. And so I think it's a similar, like, it just reminded me of these clips that I was watching. So like the Steven Universe gems can like combine into a completely different character and then they can uncombine back into their own characters. And some of those characters that are base characters are actually two people combined to be that like main base character. If somebody's watching this fucking podcast and they get to this point and I spoil Steven Universe for you.
Watching our Digimon podcast.
I will Venmo you $10, but you have to prove it. And so let's see if anybody comments about that. Anyways, that's the vibe that I got from Ty and Matt's Digimon combining, because then they don't like stay combined.
Right.
They uncombine.
Yeah.
And so like, is that a thing that like any Digimon can do, or do they have a special bond? It was just in the moment. They needed it to fight the virus. Like, what was the deal with that? Like, does that happen again?
Yes. I don't know about, any Digimon, but maybe, probably.
Yeah.
My guess they'd probably have to have Digidestined, like partners.
Yep.
And because this...
Spoilers, if
Are you going to... Well, Digimon Adventure 02.
You can spoil me. I would... If I'm going to watch it, I'm still going to watch it anyways.
So, Omnimon is our real... I believe Omnimon shows up at the end of the original series as well.
Okay.
That's kind of the first of its thing in that show. But then in Digimon Adventure 02, once we get to a point that the kids are... Because they're not doing this yet in the movie, so I'm like, they've got to still be doing their adventure.
Yep.
Digimon Adventure 02, eventually, as you saw, they were armored digivolving. Their Digimon Vmon and...
Armor digivolve?
Yeah. So Vmon, how he would go become Flamedramon, and Raydramon, and Magnamon.
Okay.
There's 3 different forms. Those are armored digivolutions.
But they're all the same Digimon.
Yeah, they're all based from Vmon.
Okay.
I don't know what level those are considered. I don't know if they technically have levels.
Sure.
But it's different. But eventually...
The lore here is going crazy. It's breaking my brain.
Eventually, they do manage to properly digivolve their Digimon into their champion levels.
Okay.
And then from there, how they continue on evolving is DNA digivolution.
What?
So, like Vmon eventually, there's another character that comes into the show who was not in this movie at all.
Yep.
Who is essentially his fusion partner. Them and their champion forms will fuse into one, which will then digivolve even further. Yeah.
Dude, what the hell?
Not the only time it happens.
Okay, can we take a moment here and talk about, and we can go back to, we're jumping all around. I'm so excited. It's just like, I'm just learning all this stuff.
This movie's a bit of a jamble. Like
it makes sense.
I love it. I enjoy it.
It was a great movie.
I was jarred at times with how it.
Okay, skipping to the third part.
Yes.
Let's talk about the digivolution, whatever that's called, that are literally humans. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like the chick and the guy? Okay.
Oh yeah.
Like, what the hell is that?
You mean Angemon and Angewoman?
Yes, Angewoman, Angeman, Angeman, Angewoman. Like, what the hell is that? Like, and then when they evolve again, the
Seraphimon, you know, it makes sense.
The guy turns into just like a mega guy, and the chick turns into like a dragon thing. Like, what the hell is that? You know? I'm
loving your reaction.
Dude, Muhammad is into this. He wants to know what we're talking about. I see you.
Yep. It's just the evolution lines of these are insane. And I mean, if you play the games, or at least there's a ton of different games. The games.
When you say games, Game Boy games, DS games, computer games, Wii games, what are they?
Yes.
Everything?
Yeah,
Is it like Pokemon? They were just like. So it's not Nintendo that's putting it out, though.
Well, Digimon, I know they don't have
PlayStation, maybe?
They don't have a one set style like Pokemon, where they like this. There's a main line, and this is like the standard, and then there's side split offs, whatever. Digimon has a bunch of different games.
Okay.
Like I know they have Digimon Survive, which is sort of it's like a battlefield strategy style thing where you're actually like moving your characters around.
Cool.
And there's like important decisions in that game that can get characters killed or not.
That's another big difference, I think, with Digimon and Pokemon is Pokemon faint. Some Pokemon do die, obviously, like Lavender Town. Like, come on.
They'll say the word die in Digimon.
They actually say the word die in Digimon. They do say, like, Digimon never die.
Yeah.
And then, like, at the end, Kokomon comes back as an egg.
Which that is a thing.
I was so freaked out. I was like, are you kidding me? This guy, his little Digimon that's a twin with this other guy, this other one, Terriermon or whatever, is dead. Like, are you kidding me? And then it came back as an egg. I was like, all right. But then it was like, the movie ended too soon after that. I was like, what's going on here?
Oh yeah, no, that was just done. That's part of why I'm like, this was 3 movies spliced all into one. So like, gonna be a little jarring in places.
We've mentioned this. I like it. I also kind of wish it was a little bit more linear and like maybe just focus on Ty's crew.
I would just like to go watch those 3 movies now.
Yes.
Honestly.
Yeah.
So I can, because especially there was one thing in the 3rd section that really, really made me scratch my head.
What was it?
Let me see. Okay, so that's still in the 2nd section. Yes. So Davis and Willis.
Yes.
Are traveling on their own for a bit because the pizza taxi came by and went off without them.
That was funny.
Not adding context to that. And so they're traveling on in the woods. It's getting to be nighttime. And Davis starts getting upset about the situation going on.
Yes.
That's like the scene, it looks like he's like, I don't know if what the context, this is why I want to know what the context was for the Japanese version.
Right.
Because I want to know, like, did somebody get hurt that it didn't show? There's definitely more here because it looks like he's head up against a tree crying his eyes out, like something awful just happened. He feels horrible. And then Willis just comes over, hey, it's me that's got the problem, not you, so just get over it. Okay.
That was so funny. So random, so funny.
Like, just... No, Why?
Like, okay.
Why is this here?
Wait, why is he even upset in the first place?
doing?
Like, what's happening here? Why did he get over it so fast? Like,
Oh my God. Like, dude looked like he was losing it and then just, I'm fine. All right.
that was very,
You got a point. Let's move.
that was a bizarre, that was a bizarre scene.
Like, that's my biggest one that I'm like, I want to watch the Japanese ones.
Yeah.
I just want to know what the context is.
Afterwards, I was trying to find the originals, like with English sub, and I couldn't, at least on archive.org. I didn't look very. I got distracted by a Pokemon thing that had a English, Japanese, Russian like thing, and I clicked on it, and it was like.
And got a virus immediately.
No. It was on archive.org, so it was fine. But it was what it was the English version, and then it had Russian subtitles, and you could still hear the English dub, but then some woman was dubbing every single character in Russian over the English. So you could still hear the English, but then you also heard Russian. And I literally took my headphones off and I gave it to Jordan. I was like, you have to listen to this. Because I was like, what is this? What's going on?
I think that'd do it for me for the night.
Yeah. No,
I gotta go to bed after this one.
I turned Minecraft back on after that. Anyways, so I was looking around a little bit and then got distracted, like I said. But I would like to watch it in Japanese with the English sub to just see, because, and I think this, and Chris and I mentioned this before the podcast, like the humor in it is so, like, it's very English, very Americanized, English. Like, so I'm curious if that same level of humor is in the original, because with dubs, there's often like so much liberty taken when it like it's never a 1-to-1 translation. I
just need to know the whole chaos that was Ty's mom, like all those recipes, like what actually was the context to everything with that one, because I can't imagine. I mean, they had the scene of Izzy running off
to the bathroom, so maybe it is like the same, but it's probably not like spinach cookies and beef jerky shakes. It's probably like more classic, like Japanese food, like weird combinations of that.
Maybe, yeah.
But maybe it is. I don't know. Because something that's interesting to me about Digimon is there is in the show like some characters in Japan and some characters in America.
Yep. Like Willis, one of the main characters of the third half, yet they're mentioning him the entire time.
Yes.
He lives in America.
Yeah, he's in Colorado.
Mimi is out in Hawaii on vacation.
So that's interesting because that's different too also of like Pokemon is in its own world. You've got the Kanto region, you've got Johto, Hoenn, Sinnoh.
There's no form of reference to, well, I can't say reference, but there is no real world locations.
Right. And Digimon is, no, we're in Japan. We're in like this, it's more of a like.
Apart from when you're in the digital world, like it is the modern world.
And it's a little bit more like, oh, this could happen to me. I could get a Digi-Egg. I could have a Digimon because like these are just people and they're like, they live where I live. Like, you know, so that aspect of it I found was really cool.
Now, like, I'd probably be far more pressed to be like, I wish Pokemon were real over Digimon because, you know, again, Digimon, we're dealing with real world scenarios.
Yes.
Like, you know, 10 minutes before a nuke touches down in your neighborhood.
Yeah.
Because a Digimon doesn't like you.
The Digimon, and you have to rely on the Digimon and the Digidestined to save you. It's true. It's very Marvel. Like
just relying on a bunch of middle schoolers.
Gotta let Iron Man save New York City, or we're all gonna die. Like, so I was like, oh, this isn't gonna be a very long episode. We're already like at our time that we have scheduled, but there's nothing else right now, so we're gonna just keep going.
We're having too much fun.
We're having way too much fun. Something that I want to mention, one of the lines that I want to mention from the first part before I want to talk a little bit more about the second part, because I do think the second part is the most fun.
Oh yeah. I will just say this, like of the three, I prefer the second.
Yeah,
like,
that was cool.
section the most.
I was confused by it to some degree.
That's fair.
But it was really cool.
Like I said, it takes place post Adventure 1. So.
Yes. So it makes sense that I would be confused. The line when Agumon is like running through the town with Kari, and they like almost get hit by a truck, and the guy's like, "Did you see that?" And he said, "No, I was sleeping." And then the other guy said, "No, but you're driving." And it was actually
I was sleeping.
And that was it too. It like they had like a little accent. "Did you see that?" "No, I was sleeping, but you're driving."
Yeah.
I really liked that.
I had Baby and Digimon's Big Day Out.
Yes, that was very cute.
Then it was the "No, I was sleeping," and then like after they whizzed by, I take it Agumon was like threatened by that. Like it was too close of a call. Pepper fire or pepper flame.
And that I noticed as well as like they announce their moves.
Yes.
Rather than saying their name like Pokemon, they announce their moves when they say
you'll know, big difference, of course, Digidestin, they are never calling out the...
They're not telling them what to do.
They're not telling them what to do. They are there. They are rooting them on.
Moral support.
Exactly.
That is a fascinating difference. I like it too. It's like they're just cheerleaders.
Yeah.
Like, come on, do it. And then no, go ahead. Yeah.
With that, I had just I wrote down Shin Agumon, like Shin Godzilla, just because like the shot when he fired that off just looked terrifying to me. Like, oh, this is real now. This is less haha fun baby riding on dinosaur to dinosaurs shooting fireballs and destroying public property.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like I will say that the first part happens very fast. Mm-hmm. Like I mean. And let me just say a couple of my favorite scenes before we move on to the second part. It was so cute. Baby Kari, like, sleeping with the egg, holding the egg while she was whistling for Ty with the soccer ball. And then when the egg hatches, her mimicking the noise the Digimon was making with the whistle.
Them doing the Digimon theme. I loved it.
So cute. And then, of course, Koromon shitting on the floor twice. Very funny. And then Koromon and the cat fighting was very fun.
Yes. Oh my God.
And then the cat, like, dragging the food bowl out.
Thank you for saving me from that clawed beast or whatever it said.
Like, it was just like, I did find that the first part was a nice lead up.
Yeah.
Into like the world of Digimon. They explained a little bit what Digidestined is. They explained a little bit about Digivolving, the digital world, digital adventure, whatever. Like,
and that's that Kari is narrating the entire movie,
which is interesting to me.
I don't love it all the time.
Yeah.
There's some moments like when Omnimon, right before when Omnimon is about to like come together, where she's talking over it, and I'm like, I kind of would just like this to. Yeah. Scored.
Yep, true. That is true. Like, I wish there was more score. Like, and I didn't mention this in my notes, but like, the Pokemon movies do score very well. Like, they have their original score that comes through in different moments, and it's really, really powerful. I loved the use of it makes the movie a little less serious, in my opinion. Like, not having like a score that kind of follows through and like is reprised and stuff. Like,
I get you.
But also like it there's value to it in each way. I love the 2000 songs. Thought it was awesome. Mm-hmm. I need to check the calendar just to make sure there is actually nothing in here. I don't think there is because Kevin left.
Pretty sure there wasn't. The only thing.
No, we're good. So anything else we want to say about the first part before we move into the second part? Because the second part's really cool.
I just want to say, why was an egg that big needed for
a tiny
Parrotmon?
Oh yeah.
That egg came down over the skyline, over top of the city, and it looked as big as the city.
And then
Parrotmon is about the size of a small building.
Yeah. Also, and then I'm going to skip into I'm going to comment on that and skip to the third part because like Parrotmon, Hawkmon, Armadillomon, like come on.
Very, very simple.
It made me laugh because I'm like, Armadillomon? Really?
Gatomon.
Oh, cat. And you're saying all these names. I have no idea who you're referencing most of the part because I'm like, it's just too much.
I'm realizing and trying to like, when I need to.
It's okay. I don't need all that. For most of it, I don't need the context.
But it's like, I mean, these names are just
and some of the names, like I remember, like Terriermon, like I have, and like again, I'm skipping to the third part again, like Terriermon, Digivolves, and like just gets a little bit bigger and then has pants on.
And gun arms.
And gun arms. I was stuck on the pants. I didn't even notice the gun arms.
So was Willis, because he said he's got pants now.
Yeah. So, it's interesting, like that some of the names are just crazy. Like, anyways, let's jump to the second part. So what is the overall like concept of the second part? There is a Digimon, maybe, that is corrupted by a virus?
Yes, there was a Digi-egg that they discovered as a virus was ravaging the internet. Mm-hmm. The egg started hatching and slowly but surely growing. Like it digivolves and starts changing like so quick.
Yep.
Like it comes from the egg out into as Kuramon, then digivolves into Sumamon. Like you don't even get these names in the movie. Then digivolves to Karamon and it says its own name.
I see.
Then digivolves again to Infirmon for the first time as they start fighting it.
Infirmon. It's funny. I couldn't tell what its name was, so I just called it Infomon.
I mean, it's a Digimon virus on the internet. Yeah. And they made mention that Karamon skipped a stage and went straight to Ultimate. So skipped the champion stage.
Okay.
Which is Kurisarimon or Chrysalimon. I don't know. Didn't show up in the movie, so it doesn't matter.
The fact that you can remember all these names is crazy.
It's because of Digimon Story, Cyber Sleuth, and Hacker's Memory. They were fairly recent RPG games, Pokemon style, turn-based.
Oh, and you were super into that.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Fair enough.
And of course, I had one of those on my team.
Yep.
Which that, so, I mean, basically, it's not quite Warp Digivolution because, or at least like how Agumon and Gabumon do it.
Okay.
Because they Warp Digivolve straight to their Mega Forms. Karamon skips Champion, goes to Ultimate for Infirmon. And then Diaboromon. Oh, I love it. So cool.
Now, something that I liked about that was that Digimon sending emails to people like to Ty and Izzy, and then eating computer data. So like the fact that
like
the
Pac-Man.
phone lines were down. Yeah, like they literally showed it like Pac-Man, and the phone lines were down, and the microwave stopped working, and all this stuff. And then one of the lines that I really liked when the phone lines were down was from the mom. At least my sister can't call me 3 times a day. I thought that was so real and so funny. And then, of course, when they're when this is really starting to get serious, I don't remember who says it. I think it was Ty. He says maybe we should call someone important, like the principal or Bill Gates or someone.
Yep.
That was hilarious. So timely, like so 2000s. And yeah, so like they basically, and we've touched on this a little bit, but like the Digimon are sent to the internet to fight.
Ty and Izzy touch base with Jedi over the computer.
And that's the old man.
They have this whole, yes, that is the old man in the computer. They have this whole
Is he an actual man? Is he a Digimon?
I don't remember. I think he's a Digimon.
But he's like an old man.
He's a digital entity.
Interesting.
I'll say that.
Okay.
I don't remember.
I'm so stuck on this guy. I don't know why.
You're good. It's a mystery to be solved. They had this whole like setup. They brought all this computer equipment down onto the floor from like Ty's dad's office. There's a point where the connection goes out entirely. So Izzy just casually runs out to grab a, I forget exactly what it was called, but a device to just, jack into a military satellite to access the internet.
That was
no big deal.
And in the fact that it came up later was like, I hope I didn't
I hope that wasn't my fault.
Like it probably was.
Probably. When Diaboromon actually gets access to launch missiles from a military base.
And Diaboromon is Infomon evolved.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Diaboromon was the final form.
My brain is hurting.
You're good. It's all good.
But yeah, like the interpretation of like what the internet looked like when they were in there, and then like somebody made a comment. I didn't write this down, but like the internet, like it needs to be like cleaned up or something. Like I can't remember what they said, but like the interpretation of it is just like so 2000s. I loved it so much.
Like all the tubes and tunnels and the
color, even the colors that they chose,
and the outlines for all the characters.
So that was pretty cool. I don't remember how that ended.
The second section?
Yes.
So they Wargreymon, Agumon's mega form,
Okay.
and Metal Garurumon, Gabumon's mega form, they're both fighting the fight against Diaboromon. Diaboromon has multiplied over 75,000 times at this point.
Yep.
The timer's still ticking down. Ty and Matt somehow just enter the computer and are in the internet.
Yeah. So did that just like happen? Like, did I like feel like I looked away at some point and then they were just like in there?
It does just happen.
Okay.
Like,
all right.
They have a whole, like, Ty is just lamenting that he can't help. Like, I wish I could help you. I wish I could be there. And it's just a scene of him slowly moving his hands towards the screen.
Okay.
And then we cut away to his mom entering the room being like, hey, Izzy, did you want some more of whatever awful monstrosity I've concocted? He's like, yeah, no, whatever. And she says something about Ty and does a double take and comes back in and Ty is gone.
Okay.
Ty is not in the room.
Gotcha.
We don't see Matt.
It just happens.
We don't see what Matt does at all. He's just also
Well,
there.
and isn't there a scene where like, cause he's in the barber shop or whatever. And like the barber is like freaking out. Like, where did he go? Like, that was so funny.
I forgot. He totally just watched a kid enter his computer.
Yeah. He was totally freaking out.
Oh, dude's going to be traumatized.
I can't remember what he was saying, but like and I should have written it down because it was funny. But yeah, that was interesting. So they go in there.
They go in
there. Their Digimon combine.
Their Digimon are hurt, and so the last ditch effort, fusion, ha!
Okay.
Omnimon is born. I absolutely adore this scene because the music that kicks in. I mean, it's. These songs, I believe, are actually used in the original Digimon series, too.
Okay.
Like the Let's Kick It Up, Going Digital, Here We Go. And Let's Kick It Up is my absolute favorite. So when that kicks on as Omnimon is just decimating these hordes of Diaboromon. Oh.
So cool.
Supreme Cannon.
Why has the ending of this left my brain? I literally watched this last night.
So he obliterates almost all the Diaboromon except for the original one, and he's too fast, moving too fast, can't get a shot off. And so Izzy, like all throughout this section, kids are sending emails to Ty and Izzy. Some is like hate mail, some is support, but
and it's like thousands.
But it's all slowing down their Digimon.
That's right.
So Izzy gets the idea to forward all of those emails to Diaboromon.
Is that what happened?
Yes.
That is so funny.
Yes, I love. There's an abridged version of this that I adore that Team 4-Star did.
Sure.
And Diaboromon knows when Broly. It was a whole thing of like they were still working on their abridged Broly movie. People were clamoring for it.
Yeah.
And so the joke was Diaboromon knows when Broly. And so they were like, when's Broly? When Broly? When Broly?
That's funny.
But so in the movie itself, Izzy forwards the emails to Diaboromon, slowing him down, literally stopping him.
Yeah.
He gets the hourglass over top of him, and he just slowly like looks and jerks over at Omnimon.
Yeah.
Who then just plants Transcendent Sword right straight down the middle of his head.
That is like the concept of
You're
like.
not going to see that in Pokemon, by the way.
No, you were not. But the concept of like, we're getting all these emails, they're slowing our Digimon down. Let's forward them to the bad guy and like, let's slow him down. Like, that's hilarious.
And it works. And the missiles fall harmlessly into the water. They don't explode. We're not going to talk about that impact and all that, but whatever.
A classic like anime, like just things happen.
It's just fine.
And you know.
It's all good. Don't worry about cleanup, aftermath, all that.
Yep. Nope.
And they literally don't, because they move on with Kari's narration into the third section.
And then the third section is focused on Willis.
Yes.
And he has two twin Digimons.
Yep.
And
most Digidestined have one Digimon partner. He ended up with two.
One is Terriermon and one is Cocomon. And he explains later on to Davis around the time of that weird scene where Davis is upset and then not upset.
Mind you, Willis is apparently like a super genius kind of
Yeah, because he like is at Colorado State University or
when
something.
he's like an elementary schooler.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And so Willis had Terriermon and Cocomon, and Cocomon got corrupted by the virus.
When Diaboromon was destroyed.
when Diaboromon was destroyed. Okay. So there's the connection there between the second part and the third part.
And I want to know if that's a thing at all in the Japanese version, like if these movies are connected at all.
Interesting.
Because it really feels like Willis doesn't actually matter until the last.
Right.
Because like that email, they do get an email from him in the second section. Like they actively put it up on screen. It's the kid's face, and it's like just a line that's really. I mean, it is kind of important because it gives Izzy the idea to forward the emails to slow him down.
Yep.
But he's just saying something like, "This is all my fault. Slow him down." I wonder if that's in the original. If Willis matters at all to this part of the movie, or if he's a third section, whatever that movie is. Character.
I bet there's like comparison. If we can't find the actual original, I bet there's comparison like
Probably.
articles that like, or like some super fans that are talking about the difference.
But yes, in this, Kokomon was corrupted by that virus because, come to find out, Willis had thought, hey, what if I had more friends? And tried to create a Digimon.
Oh, I missed that part.
This Digi-Egg getting corrupted by a virus, which became Diaboromon.
Oh, so he made
Yes.
that Digimon.
Yes.
That's right.
It then got corrupted by a virus, became Diaboromon. When Diaboromon was destroyed, the virus somehow...
Screwed up Kokomon.
Yeah. Somehow came back and...
Oh, because I see. Because he's the whole thing there is he's lonely. He doesn't have any friends.
Yep.
The only friends he has are his Digimon, so he tried to make his own.
Yes.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, I missed that part. I missed a lot, clearly.
It's all good.
And then the whole thing there is the corrupted Kokomon keeps saying, you have to go back. We have to go back.
Back to the beginning.
And he thinks that means Colorado, so then they're like trying to get
go back
there.
home where we started it all.
But what it actually means is you have to go back to when you're a little kid.
Yeah, you have to go back in time and stop that virus from corrupting me.
Exactly. And so he does. Right?
Well,
No, he doesn't.
yeah. So
He dies.
we get through to this point. They're fighting in a flower field.
Everybody's little babies.
Kokomon has since digivolved into Antilamon, and then after Antilamon into Cherubimon Evil.
Oh, this is where the like weird angel
This
woman
is the weird, yeah.
That's okay.
Because they had a whole thing. We have to evolve into our mega forms to summon the golden eggs, something like that. Which,
like, what does that even mean?
presuming established, I knew about one of the golden eggs. I didn't know there was a second one.
Yep.
Well, I mean, I did kind of because it was a thing for in the games. I knew about the Rapidmon evolution.
Yeah.
But so yes, that was the whole thing with their mega evolutions, their mega forms. Cherubimon just has the ability to turn back, or at least isolatedly turn back time.
Okay.
Because certainly did for all of the kids, turning them into little children.
Yep.
I don't know where you want to go from here. I don't want to keep moving on into the end of it.
That's fine. I mean, we're
pretty at times.
Finish it up.
Because it ended up being a whole thing of, what was it? TK and Kari were in the States.
Yes.
And they had just happened to come across Willis getting attacked by Kokomon.
That's right.
Terriermon and Kokomon fighting.
Yes.
They start following him.
In New York City or whatever.
Get in touch with the rest of the team to have them just come to America. No big deal. A bunch of kids. And eventually they get there through all sorts of roundabout means through Jolene? I forget her name. The girl with the glasses that's with the Hawkmon. But it's like through connections that she's got, like uncles, cousins.
That's right. Oh, my uncle got us this has airline flights, and my uncle lives here and has this taxi thing. They made a bunch of different stops
on planes due to But eventually they get there. They do the pizza taxi thing, which is Willis calling for a pizza and being like, "Hey, by the way, could you just like pick us up on the way?"
I do this all the time. Like that was funny.
Oh, yes, quite funny, quite fun, and so it's kind of just a moving movie. We're always on the move.
Yes.
Kokomon is always on the chase until we get to the final like setting which is still just out in the wilderness. I still don't entirely know where they are by the end of it.
Yes, me neither.
But because the fight goes from like they're fighting Kokomon / Antilamon when he digivolves in this like mountain range looking place. The sky is all dark. But then come the fight versus Cherubimon, they're like in a flower field.
Yeah, that's right.
And then we have the whole rewinding time thing. And we have the...
I was getting very Pokemon the third movie vibes from it.
Oh, yeah, I could see that.
Like in the different like scenes that are like being made up by Molly. Yeah. Obviously not the same, but...
I mean, I'd prefer if they had just explained it like that, because clearly Cherubimon is very powerful, or at least like the powers that it has are insanely high scale, like time manipulation.
Yep.
So why not just reality warping, bending the planes? Anyway, yes, we have then we have Seraphimon and the dragon come from Angemon and Angewamon. I still don't remember the actual dragon's like name. Do you happen to know what it is?
No. Are you kidding? No.
They summon the golden eggs, which is used to digivolve Vmon into Magnamon and digivolve Terriermon into Rapidmon armor. There is a version of Rapidmon from Tamers.
Okay.
Because Terriermon is one of the main cast. It's a different Terriermon. Oh, yeah, that was a fun little thing. Just, way back thing from the first part of the movie. I just liked that they touched on, they actively said that it was not the same Koromon that they met later on that is Tai's current, like, Agumon friend. Yeah,
I didn't understand that. How is it not the same Koromon?
I don't know. I just thought that was cool.
There's multiple Koromon? Like, there's multiple of the same Digimon?
Very much so.
What?
Yes. I mean, you like watching the series and all that, there's like hordes of different of the same Digimon.
Interesting.
I don't know if you really usually see much of the same for like our Digidestined and their partners.
So I guess that's pretty similar to Pokemon, where it's like there's not just one Pikachu.
Yes.
There's a million Pikachu.
Yep.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. So I'd maybe like to see some kind of, what's that Agumon up to? What does that do? It was a big Agumon. It seemed special. Want something out of that. Anyway, the golden eggs come in, they get their golden armor digivolutions, and then a line that I'm like, why? Why is this here? Magnamon says something, I'm going to try and hit him from the inside, follow me. As Cherubimon comes up from behind them and clearly catches them off guard and eats them.
Right.
Like, what? And what part, like, at least if it was that sort of through line, I'd be expecting to cut to them inside Cherubimon actively messing up the place. They're just wandering or falling.
Yeah.
Like, they did not do that intentionally. I don't know why that line is in there.
And maybe that's like another thing with like the English dub, like versus Japanese original.
Maybe it's like there was originally nothing said there.
Yeah.
And for some reason the writers were like, we want a line in here.
Yeah.
We need to pay our actors more. Yeah. We need to get our money's worth.
And so how does it end? Like they kill
the virus inside of Cherubimon.
And Cherubimon is Kokomon.
Yes, because like an image of Kokomon appears to them inside of Cherubimon and is just like pointing to his chest. Like, I think he's trying to tell us something. I think he wants us to destroy the virus inside him.
Yeah. Okay, that's, I
think he wants us to solve this movie's problem.
Great inference.
But yeah, it kind of does. Cherubimon ends up turning to Cherubimon Good very briefly.
Okay.
That white and gold form.
Yep.
And then vanishes. Dead.
Yep.
Gone.
Yep.
And they at least actively say, like, the virus was destroyed inside of him, but it seems like the battle was too much for him.
Yes. And then they also say, what do they say? Digimon, I thought I wrote this down somewhere. Digimon never die or something like that.
Digimon never die.
And so then he does come back as an egg. And
just on the beach, in the ocean. Imagine if he hadn't noticed it.
I know. All right. So Willis has his two guys again, right?
Yes, presumably.
Okay.
I don't know if he's in any future content, so
I see.
I can't say for sure, but.
Well, had you seen this movie before?
I had. did not remember at all how the third section went.
Okay.
I knew that we had the scene with them as babies, and I knew about Diaboromon. I thought the third section was entirely different.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Because there's a whole thing that happened that I'm thinking about, and I saw a YouTube video came up in my feed. Turns out there's a sequel
to this movie.
Well, I mean, it's like the second movie. It's like another Digimon movie.
It's like the Pokemon movies where it's like, it's not actually like a sequel to the first one. It's just another movie, or is it actually a sequel to the first one?
Oh, wait, no. Yes, it is. It is a sequel to this.
Gotcha. Oh my God, I'm so confused. Let me say my overall thoughts before, and I'll let you say your overall thoughts before we wrap up. Actually, why don't you say your overall thoughts and then I'll say mine.
I fucking love this movie.
Yeah.
It like, for all of the, problems I had in terms of actually watching it, the jarring moments at times and the Americanisms maybe dropping it in quality for me somewhat, but just... I just enjoyed it. It was so much fun, and the music and the animation, and God, I don't even know how to say. I just thought it was really fun.
Yeah, it was a really fun movie. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really funny. I would like to see how it stands up to the Japanese original. Mm-hmm. Just like what the differences are.
Because I just want more context to some scenes.
Exactly.
Let's get more time with this.
Watching it, I was like, I wish I had watched this when I was a kid. Like, I wish I had gotten into Digimon when I was younger, because I think I would have enjoyed it, considering I liked Pokemon. I do think that I would have been there's so much information here. If I had watched it as a kid, I probably would have absorbed it more and would have known a little bit better. But thinking about it now, where I'm like, oh, am I really going to try to get into this? There's so much whatever. So it's just interesting to think about what if I had watched it as a kid?
Yeah.
Loved all of the old technology. I mentioned that before, but I thought that was really cool. And then I will say, to some degree, I don't really understand what the overall show is about based on this movie.
That's fair.
To some degree, I do. There's some things that got explained, but because I think it is so this part is about this series and this part is about that series. I'm like, okay, but what is Digimon? What is the show? And so
I can at least I'm not going to go on a whole thing but just to let you know, Digimon Adventure, the original series, it starts with these kids going to camp. They're all going off to the same summer camp. Something, blah, blah, blah. They end up in the digital world, and that is where they spend the series and dealing with conflicts in the digital world. Yes, so
I see.
This movie and all that was set in the modern world, and in the series they do get to going back home and having problems leak in there. That's not really spoilers, because that's just kind of how these sort of things go.
Okay.
Yeah, that's at least Adventure 1 and 2, pretty much the structure.
Well, I fully recommend people to watch this movie.
Yes.
I thought it was really fun.
It's so fun.
You don't really need Digimon knowledge to enjoy the movie because of the music, because of the animation, because of just it's just enjoyable. I will say that this is a little too complicated for me.
What do you mean? I thought we were going to start going into every single episode one by one, deep dive analysis.
I've absolutely changed my mind. I literally can't do this. There's Angemon and Koromon and Hawkmon and Armadillomon and Computermon. It's too much for my brain to handle. So unfortunately, I think we need to go back to Pokemon. I think Team Yap needs to stay a Pokemon podcast, because
that's a wrap on the Digimon. I didn't hook you.
You almost got me. I don't think my brain is big enough to continue a Digimon podcast. So, all
right. Well, I suppose next time we're back to Pokemon.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. I feel a little bad, but honestly, I gotta stay loyal to Pokemon. So,
well, wasn't meant to be. Wasn't the direction to go in.
I appreciate you guys sticking with it. I hope you enjoyed our movie review. This will be the only Digimon content you ever get from us.
This will be the first and last episode of Team Yap, the Digimon podcast.
But, thank you. Thank you for tuning in to episode 1 of Team Yap, the Digimon podcast. You can tune in probably next month for episode 18, technically, of Team Yap, the Pokemon podcast, because I'm done. I'm done with Digimon.
Done with Digimon, never touching it again.
Yep, I just can't. So,
god-awful franchise.
With that being said, I have been your co-host, Emily Brewer.
I've been your co-host, Chris Lavalette. This has been a wonderful time.
Thanks so much for watching, listening. Catch you
next time.